But first, Germany is powering ahead of Britain when it comes to renewable energy. German homeowners are actually selling solar heating to the national grid at a profit. Nottingham South MP Alan Simpson wants to see similar carbon-free zones in the East Midlands and has been to Germany to compile this special report for the Politics Show.
I'm Alan Simpson, a Nottingham MP and chair of the Parliamentary Warm Homes Group. Like the Prime Minister, I'd like Britain to be a world leader in delivering renewable energy and tackling climate change. The trouble is that we're not. So I thought I'd come to here, to Munich in southern Germany, and see how things can be done. It looks as though we've now come to an ordinary primary school, but it's not, is it?
No, it's actually not, Alan, and I'll show you why. These are members of the local Agenda 21 group here in Hardern, and they've done something quite extraordinary because they've come together here and they've invested into a solar club. So basically they've put solar panels on the roof of this local school building. We'll go up now on the roof and I'll show you around.
Let's go. Okay. This is pretty fantastic, but how does the solar club work?
It will take about 6 to 8 weeks, something like that, and then we do the installation, and once it's finished we can feed in the electricity into the grid.
And on a good year like this, how much do club members receive?
It is usually between 120 and 150 euro, so in a good year like this one you could get up to 10% of what you pay.
Well, the German government passed a law that required energy companies to pay German citizens for clean energy that they supplied from their homes or their communities, and you get paid 4 times the market price for a guaranteed period of 20 years.
Gut, ja, wir haben halt ein paar Punkte
Breathtaking. Do you know what excited me most about that meeting? In the space of about 5 years, you've got a local community in which they've now got about 700 members of the solar club with 25 solar sites that they've set up. They've generated just over 1.5 million kilowatt hours, and probably most importantly of all, they've paid themselves back about 800,000 euros, 500,000 pounds over the 5 years. Of course, it's environmentally sustainable and a real feel-good factor, but it's a money machine as well, and that's because they're paid 4 times the market price for the clean energy that they generate. So now I'm going to see an architect to see what part he plays in the design part of the whole process.
Und jetzt gehen wir links. Schau, wir gehen da lang.
What I wanted to see in the kindergarten is how people set about taking an existing building and, in relatively simple terms, raising the insulation standards so that they could cut the energy costs by 9/10 and still end up with a beautiful building within which the children could play.
The first one is to cover it with insulation. It's like a building is like a human being. In winter you need more clothes, and then again you have also to breathe. And
it does help.
This is the 2 things you need. And the third thing is, of course, the sun. And if you get 3 things together, then you have it. You can cut the consumption cost by about 80%.
You will arrive at your destination after 200 meters.
I'm sitting on top of 3 million litres of water, and that's water storage is heated by an array of solar water panels that sit on the roof of the flats. The water is heated up and then pumped back into the complex. The effect of that is to cut people's water bills in half throughout the year.
Beautiful. Hello.
Hello.
Hi guys.
You live in these beautiful apartments. Are they as much of a joy to live in as to look at?
Yes, it's very nice inside. It's
what makes the difference?
Comfortable, warm. It doesn't get cold. It keeps the warmth, and we know it's heated by the sun. That's a fine feeling.
National targets are not enough to reduce the CO2 emissions, and though we decide that if we want to reduce CO2 emissions till 2030 for 50% in comparison to 1990, we have to do more than the national government.
Well, see, the European Union is really trying very hard to boost renewable energy sources. For example, they want to achieve 20% from our energy to come from renewable sources, and that is really quite an ambitious target. And Munich is just one little example here, and it's happening all across Europe, be it cities, be it regions.
Any organic material we can turn into biogas in the same technology. Well, it heats about 700 households, plus we can provide electricity to approximately 8,000 to 10,000 households at the same time. If you compare that with coal-fired power stations, we are about double to almost 3 times as efficient, yes.
And when they've finished taking out all the heating and all the electricity from the materials that came in, this is what we're left with. It's its own compost. And that compost will go back onto the fields that it came out of, with all of the nutrients still intact. It's nature's perfect cycle. This isn't the River Trent, it's the River Isar. But as it makes its way through the city of Munich, there are 21 small hydroelectricity plants that turn the power of the river into a source of energy for the city. There's a great feeling about being in Munich. There's a buzz in the city. It clearly sees itself as a national, if not European, leader. And the great sense that I come away with is how joined up their thinking is in taking on big challenges. I've ended up, without my football boots, at the new home of Bayern Munich. But the reason for being here is across the road. It's the wind turbine generator that is another part of the exciting mix of renewable energies that makes up the Munich plan. If Britain wants to be a world leader, then we have to up our game. And the key challenges are these. In Germany, it's the cities that drive the agenda for change. It's the citizens who can put energy into the grid in the gas network and the electricity network. And it's the citizens who get paid up to 4 times the market price for the renewable energy that they supply. And if the Germans can do it, why can't we?